2010 is shaping up to be the year of the EV's arrival. One of the big reasons for it, this car right here, the Nissan LEAF. We've talked specs, we've talked pricing, we've talked infrastructure. Those are all important topics, but you know where consumers really decide yeah or no on this guy? Is when they go to the showroom and take it for a test drive. We're doing that right now. Let's go.
Driving the front wheels is an 80 kilowatt motor. That's about 107 horsepower with 207 foot-pounds of torque. Range is nominally 100 miles, but that can vary a lot. No, it can vary wildly, depending on climate, terrain, your driving style, use of the heater, air conditioning, radio. If you're really nervous about range on a LEAF, wait until these guys have been on the market about 6 months. Let's see what real users find out. From dead empty, it takes about 8 hours to charge a LEAF full up from a special Nissan charger you have installed to a 220 circuit in your house, and they recommend that. You can't just plug into your dryer outlet, that's against code. You can plug into a standard 110 outlet, but by the time the car's charged, your kids will have grown up and had their own children. It's like 14 hours plus. 110 is really just for topping up. Now, the LEAF is an all-new model, so like a Prius, it should stand out for its, well, unusual looks, which helps signify its unusual power source. You may love or hate the way it looks, but you won't mistake it, and you'll know what it stands for.
Okay, starting the car is interesting right off the bat. You just push a button. Nothing fires to life, of course, electric car, but there's a sound you can actually customize. You can choose from 3. Here's ours. Give the car a few seconds to wake up. Nice looking video-like LCD dashboard. Now your shifter's an unusual bit of work right here. You take this guy and kick it over and back for drive. If you did that again, you get to an eco mode of drive, but they're both the same thing, just 2 forward engagement gear sets to work with here. We'll go into standard drive on this guy. And as soon as we clear the traffic, off we go. Now as I get started here, interesting feature. If I push this little button, a little arrow inside of a circle, it brings up kind of the old SAC bomber range map there on the map. But that's not showing my bomb range, that's actually showing my charge get-to range. There's one that's a definite, and there's one that's absolutely using up all my power. And then around there, I've got some icons that show where I can charge up as well. So there are several ways to get over the anxiety of a car that, let's face it, is a whole lot harder to fill up than a gas engine car. You've got your miles to empty or miles to flat gauge right there. That one on the left is battery temperature. You've also got an indicator on the eyebrow display on the top there that shows you how greenly or how brownly you're driving. You want that to be in the green range, which is to say it's going to show that you're using the least amount of power to get around. Different look and feel for the interior on this car. It doesn't look like anything else Nissan has done. Again, a divergence to state this is a new product category, a new product in itself, and a new diversion, if you will. You won't get in it and feel like, okay, they took the Sentra guts and put them in something else. Oh look, I'm growing a tree. Now, as I drive efficiently with that little efficiency gauge in the upper left, I'll grow a tree. It's a little stylized little pine tree there, and I'm starting to put a couple of boughs on it. I'm up to 2 now. This is the little game you play when you drive a very green car. You may laugh until you get one, and then you'll find yourself doing the exact same thing. Now, Nissan crows a lot about how this car has almost a luxury feel to it. They say they've put a lot of time and effort into it being very well-planted, quiet, and refined in the way that it drives. Now, I'll be honest with you, all electric cars will surprise you with the level of effortlessness that they portray. When you don't have gears that are changing in a gearbox and pistons going up and down and cams and lobes whacking against valves, things that you don't really notice consciously, when those go away, a car feels almost like a magic carpet. Electric cars are amazing that way in general. This car does feel well put together. We just drove the Mitsubishi i-MiEV a few days ago, right before this car came to us for a little availability, and that car feels more like an electric Honda Fit. This car feels more like an electrified Sentra. I think that's kind of a pretty good parallel just off the top of my head. It feels more upscale than a base or entry car. Okay, after a short drive just around the city like this, I can tell you a few things. First of all, this is a real car that has a solid, value-oriented presence to it. It doesn't feel like you got in some kind of a circus buggy. Now, what are you paying for that? Almost $33,000 base, but then come the deductions. $7,500 from the feds, $5,000 from your state if you're in California, Georgia, a couple of other states. Now we're down to the low 20s. Now we've got pretty much a bona fide steal for cutting-edge technology and a completely new drivetrain and power supply. The question is, how does charging work for you and your driving standards? Do those tax credits stay in place, at least long enough for Nissan to bring cost out of this car and bring its MSRP down low without supporting rebates from other entities? It's a very different picture with these kind of vehicles. We'll know more as we get a full review on the Nissan LEAF soon.